Hi, listeners. Stories have so much power, and so does whoever controls the narrative. It is time that we dissect and analyze these stories. I am Vipul, and this is Folk Tales. Hi, everyone. This week's fairy tale is a German story from Maggie Pearson's 2013 collection, The House of Cats and the Other Traditional Tales from Europe. It begins with a motivated young woman who sets off to find work. That's always a good start. Although this story has elements of cursed sorcery, overall it is pretty simple and straightforward, which makes it all the more unique. On that note, it's story time. A motivated young woman sets off to find work. After walking all day, she needs a place to stay for the night. She knocks on the door of the first house she passes and, finding it open, looks inside. The homeowner is waiting, sitting on the table. This is only one of the several strange things about him. He's extremely small, the size of a toddler, but appears as a very old man. He's also awash in an extraordinary long beard, like a less genetically blessed version of Rapunzel. And he speaks in song. "I am the Mannikin Spanalong," he announces to his startled visitor. "I have a beard that's 10 ells long. Girl, come in and make my supper." So not really blessed with manners either, but she did want a place to stay, and she doesn't mind making a meal that she gets to share. After they have eaten and she has washed the dishes, Mannikin Spanalong demands that she put him to bed. This is a slightly weirder request, but the girl obliges, carefully arranging the mass of hair to make a kind of quilt. She sleeps on the floor beside the fire. In the morning, he wants her help to dress and comb out his beard before she goes on her way. The more she combs, however, the less hair he has, and the shorter his beard becomes, and the taller Mannikin Spanalong grows, also younger. Eventually, the beard is just a drift of hair on the floor, and there's a tall young man standing there. This is generally the point when the rescued party explains their curse, announces their proper title, and offers marriage as a reward of services rendered. Mannikin Spanalong, or whoever he is now, does none of these things. He thanks his rescuer politely, tells her to keep the cottage and everything in it, and walks out without another word. And the girl is perfectly happy with this arrangement. She gets a free house, no strings attached. She also keeps the mass of discarded hair. Whipping up a makeshift spindle, she sets to work transforming it into yarn. And some traces of magic must still remain because however much yarn she makes, there is always hair left. This means she can't ever sweep her floor clean, but on the other hand, she has an inexhaustible resource for her very own cottage industry, and her yarn becomes a big thing at the local market. So she makes her own living, her own way, and if she ever marries, this story doesn't care. The end. It is very rare to find a fairy tale about a woman with a happy ending that is not a marriage. To find one that considers a woman supporting herself a happy ending is, well, I'll put it this way, I can't think of another one offhand. The nature of the spell makes no sense at all. I'm beginning to suspect there's a club of witches out there somewhere, egging one another to increasingly bizarre escape clauses for their curses. On that note, bye for now. Let me know your thoughts on the story and our discussion by emailing me on woketalespodcast@gmail.com or through social media at woketalespodcast on Instagram and woketalespod on Twitter. And please rate, review, and like Woke Tales Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe so you can easily access our weekly stories. If you have any story recommendations, or if you want to come dissect and analyze a story with me, give me a shout out on email or social media, because whatever you do, keep dissecting and keep analyzing.